this will be good, right? 200 people showed up, right? And they were not prepared. They didn't have enough seats. They didn't have enough cookies. They didn't have enough bulletins. They didn't have enough ushers. They had not done what we call laying a foundation for growth. In any business that you want to grow, you have to lay a foundation for growth. And that's where the small, sweet steps come in. And that's where the first 3 sides of the board come in, right? Did you see the graph that Mike put up? And Mark actually talked about it, although he didn't know we'd seen the graph, right? Was Mark Spain an overnight success?
No.
No. Guess what, guys? There is no such thing. You know, you hear about these actors that have this huge hit, and like, wow, they were an overnight success. No, they'd been going to auditions and being rejected for 20 years, right? You know, lay that foundation for growth. And that's where the small, sweet steps come in. And yes, that's where we need to be firmly in physical reality, right? Have the dream, have the goal, and Donna's going to talk more about that in a little bit. But we have to look, see, and tell the truth about what are the bricks and mortar in our foundation, and I'm using that metaphorically. When you're building a house, Chris, when you're building a house, do you start with the roof? You start with the walls. What do you start with? Foundation. And what happens if you try to put the walls and the roof up before you have the foundation? It falls down. He huffs and puffs and blows the house down, right? So the small, sweet steps, going through the process. And here's the other reason we want to do the small, sweet steps. Remember when we were talking about monkey mind and crossing the border? If we try to go from point A to point, I don't know, pick a G, right? Somewhere in the middle of the alphabet, that's when monkey gets activated, you guys. And that's where we can be having that wishful, magical thinking. Oh, well, I know the rest of the industry needs to follow these steps, but I don't. Right? I don't need to follow those steps. I'm just going to leap from point A to point B. Well, first of all, there's a lot of good things happening in B, C, D, E, F. You know what I'm saying? And second of all, when we get into that magical thinking, that's when monkey gets activated, right? Because we're trying to leap across the border in a single bound instead of taking the small, sweet steps and laying that foundation for growth. So does that resonate with any of you? Right.
Do you have questions?
Has anyone successfully leaped from point A to point Q? I'm just saying, maybe this is my structure of knowing that we need to follow a process and lay that foundation. If you have a different one, let's talk about it.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, let's hear it. Yes. Yes. So you do have to do the process, because if you don't, you're back where you started from. Exactly. And especially knowing you, Carrie, you learned a ton from that, right? Because it's not so much what's the definition of insanity? And expecting a different result. You know, we used to ask, what did you do well this week, and how can you repeat it? And what did you not do well, and how can you avoid it? But we don't say it that way anymore.
Right.
We say, what didn't go well this week, and what can you learn from it? Because just avoiding it, if we're just avoiding it, sometimes we're avoiding the lesson.
Or we're avoiding the work.
Or we're avoiding the work, right?
Right.
Right, so it's what didn't go well, and what did I learn from it? And just so you know, we ask ourselves those questions in our coaching meetings every week. When we do our check-in, you know, we say, this is what went well, and this is what didn't go well, and here's what I learned from it.
Because the challenge is what keeps it interesting. One of the most telling things from Mark Spain yesterday to me was how excited he was about the new trends that are happening.
Yeah.
I mean, you just see him like, bring it on. Completely different energy than maybe we had when we were going through it.
Yeah, there was no resignation.
Say that again?
There, was there?
No dread.
No
dread.
resignation, no doom and gloom.
He even said it was good for some people. That model's going to be good for some people. Okay?
It reminded me of our definition of a goal in this work. Our definition of a goal is an area or object toward which play
Play.
is directed in order to score. Do you think that's how Mark Spain views the coming changes? He is on that field, man, and he wants to play. He is creating brand new goals. He is adapting. He is adjusting. And he is creating goals that are worth playing for.
It's worth writing up. I want to write that.
Right? It brings a whole different energy to our work. It turns our work into play, right? Instead of the dread or the resignation, it turns it into play.
You guys help me. What is a goal? An object or area
Towards which.
we have one helper. You guys should
can
know
hear me.
this.
I can hear her.
Towards which
The P word. Play.
play is directed
In order to score.
in order to score. Now, is play easy?
Sometimes.
Can be.
Not always.
How about guys who play football?
It should be fun though.
Is it easy?
No, they have to work
Okay.
out.
Well, they have to, when they're playing the game, it is highly physical and lots of risk and
And intense.
intense.
And
right?
exciting.
Play doesn't mean
Yes.
la 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 la, right? Play is being engaged. Oh,
You just couldn't resist.
We
could you,
had a
Chris?
right-
Just one more zinger.
But it sounds so much more motivating to say play than work.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Notice.
But it's a game. This is the leveling up is a game. This whole real estate business is a game. Life is a game.
Right.
Isn't that more fun? Remember us talking about what do we want to have more of, AJ? Fun. Okay?
right on cue, AJ.
Even when it's work, it's more fun if we're playing a game.
And here's the thing, guys. We also need to look at what structures of knowing we have around work. Because the definition of work literally is just to apply effort.
That's all it is.
Oh, that's a horrible thing, right? No, it's
Work
just to
is to
apply,
apply effort.
Think about when you're working at something you enjoy and how good it feels, but then we totally, oh, now I've got to go to work, right? No.
I like to say I get to go
I
to work.
get to go to work, right? Somebody, I forget what table we were at, and someone said, if you won the lottery, how would your day be different? And I said, my day wouldn't be different. I love what I do. Although Carrie and I agreed we'd go on more vacations, right? My day would not be different.
We'd have more helpers.
Yeah, think about that.
We
you
would allow
guys.
more support.
Yeah. So think about that. If your life would be dramatically different if you won the lottery, you really need to notice that. Right? How much do you love what you do? Do I get paid well for what I do? Yes. It doesn't mean I don't love it and I don't want to keep doing it. Right? We need to get out of that either or thinking. We can either have fun or we can work.
I also want you to pay attention to support, okay? Support is not a cost. It's a profit center.
Yes. It's an
Okay?
investment in you.
Think about that. If your support isn't adding to your bottom line, then it's not the right support. Okay?
And I love it when you say, and if I paraphrase this wrong, correct me, but I heard you say this, oh gosh, when we were living here, so it was a while ago, and you said, if you can afford to pay someone to do something for you, you have a moral obligation to do so. That is exactly why my grass gets
This
cut.
is
and that's
actually
why
not
my
mine.
house is about to
This
start
is not
getting
my
clean,
quote.
right?
Okay?
Okay.
But I will tell you a funny story. It's from Alexander McCall Smith's books about the first female detective agency in Africa and Rwanda. Mama Tusi, although I'm sure we butchered that because we don't say it correctly. But she said that there's an African proverb that says if you can afford to pay another human being to do something that you do, you have a moral obligation to do so.
It rocked my world when I heard her say
What a world it would be
that. Yeah.
if we all allowed that to occur.
So here's the structure of knowing I had to dismantle when I heard that. Even though I was hugely inspired by it, I had a structure of knowing that I shouldn't pay someone to do something that I can do. Anybody else have that structure of knowing? And when I finally thought, okay, why? No kidding. Like, I can mow our acre, but why would I do that when the 16-year-old who's earning money to go to South America will mow my entire acre and edge it for $40? No kidding, right? Why? Why would I do? Even though I can wallpaper, I'm a really good wallpaper, by the way. Why would I do that when I can pay someone to come in and I can be downstairs coaching and earn 10 times what I'm paying her to wallpaper?
Support
Right?
should be a profit center. How many of you guys found out when you finally hired an assistant that you actually made more money than it cost to have them,
Yes.
right?
Because it frees you up to do what you're best at.
What is your highest dollar per hour of work? What is it? It might be prospecting, it might not be. Coaching your agents, it might be. What do you think it is?
It's a lot more than what
It
you're
could be
paying your
negotiating,
assistant. Right?
okay?
Yeah.
Could be face-to-face with a seller, having them sign the contract. Could be negotiating deals. Really, other than face-to-face with a seller, signing a contract, or negotiating deals, unless you're teaching somebody else to do it for you. Managing your team.
Yes.
Correct.
He's busy monitoring the reports. and
Okay,
figuring
it
out
changes. What's your best dollar per hour to do changes as you go up.
He's become a CEO, is what he is. He is
But
now
the
a
moment
CEO.
you can afford to pay someone to do one of the entry-level stuff, the minute you have that person doing it, you automatically make more money. As long as you don't just go not work. Because you can do more. You give yourself a raise every time you hire an assistant. They should be.
Absolutely.
They should be, but there's also, be careful because we get into that perfection problem, right? If they were you, they would be you and not hiring them. You get it? Right. There you go.
And that's the other point. That's the other point. And it goes back to hiring the right people. It's not about hiring perfect people.
Right.
It's about hiring people that are good at what you need to have done.
So that you can do something else.
So that you can do something
Not
else.
so you can
But
come in late or go on 12 vacations a year or,
That's
right?
when it's win-win. When
Yeah.
you have the right people in the right place doing something they love doing, particularly when they're doing something that you don't love doing,
Right.
right? Everybody's happy and productive at that point.
Okay. Well, a couple of things I wanted to cover. How many of you guys brought in something for everybody? I know Tanya did. I know Terry did. Who else brought something in for everybody in the room? Okay, was one of your directives or suggestions for coming to the event. How many are going to remember Tanya and John in Southern Maryland? Because they put something on your desk and said, have your peeps call my peeps, right? How many are going to remember Terry Pontius in San Diego? Because she loves gardening and that's part of her.
I actually count on Terry's packet of
Yeah.
things every year.
And she gives, she's done something, but you guys all know Terry. There you go, you can have this one.
Thank you. May I have that one?
So remember, if you're going to an event, whether it's this one or somewhere else, something small like this, it's even more impactful because you get to meet that person and shake their hand and say hello. And I mean, how many of you guys have had AJ ask you to send him a referral? I don't know where he went again. He directly
He's
asked
handling a
you
referral.
to send him a referral in Columbus. He chased Mark Spain down to ask him to send him a referral in Columbus. Okay? So make sure that you take advantage of that. All right. Where is my... Here we go.
Which one?
This one.
Which one are you looking for?
All right. We talked about having a few intentions, and one of them was to discover what business you're in, right? I think they should too. Hop up and give them extra money. Yeah.
Give him at least 200.
200 apiece. Yeah, 200 apiece. No, 200 apiece. Right? They did follow directions.
Yeah.
So
Unfortunately, you can't put this toward the weddings, Tanya.
I had,
There
Yes.
you go. Good job.
I have 3 things here, and thank goodness Meredith asked me one more question because there was one other thing I wanted you guys to do. So Meredith asked, what is your point of differentiation? Where did you level up last year? And it reminded me that I wanted you all to get up and go get your 2017 Where I Leveled Up. Bring it back to your seat. Thank you. Get up and move. Get up and move. Did you make one?
Oh, honey. They were so fun.
There's coffee in the back. Okay. Yeah, it's your 100 words or less. Yeah, go get it. Go get it.
I'm going to get more coffee while they're doing it.
Oh my gosh, really? Oh well. This wall was already toast. Yeah, we were supposed to use the command strips. Aren't these the command strips? Oh well. Don't you like pull it? That's what you're supposed to do. Pull the top. Pull the top and it won't happen. Yeah, if you pull the top like that, it doesn't damage it. Thank you. That was the danger in using this kind. I wanted to use the hooks, so they were taking them off later. But this wall did have problems before. Where is this one? Hey, Brandy?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Brandy? How did you put these up here? Yeah, but they don't all have the thing. If they have this, you can pull it and it doesn't damage the wall. That was the whole point. But that has to be sticking off the top. Well, oh well. Here. There you go.
What?
Yeah, they have to.
I went to sleep. I needed to sleep.
Like I said, this wall had holes in it and everything else, so, oh well. Yeah, you have to pull the top. See if it's sticking off the top. No, that's how they work. They have to be pulled.
Like this, just peel
I give up. Yeah, they didn't get put up right.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Things happen.
See, these will pull right off, right? Did you put these on the right way?
Sorry.
Yeah, if you grab that and then just pull
Okay.
straight up, eventually it will let go without you doing anything.
That's okay.
And it's supposed to. See,
Yeah.
nothing. They were on like that. Who are these two? I'll let you work on yours. You know, I said use the frickin' hooks. The hooks would work.
great fight.
That's ridiculous.
Programmed in my phone.
Okay, so hey, we are not doing my intent right now, please. Shannon, please go outside with that. Thanks. Gave specific directions before, so. All right, let's start with Steve Williams. Stand up, read your 2017, where you leveled up. And if it's not in there, Steve, AJ, can you have a seat? Steve, if it's not in there, I want you to add what's your point of differentiation.
What makes you different?
Okay?
I leveled up from 36 transactions in 2016 to 52 transactions in 2017. I leveled up the number of salespeople I had in 2016 by tripling it from 1 to 3 on my team. I leveled up, I opened a new home community and went to 40 new home sales in 2017 in that new home community. How I plan to level up in 2018 is to double my sales team from 3 salespeople to 6. I plan to level up.
Okay, wait on that part, because this was just about 2017.
Okay.
Great job.
What's his point of differentiation?
What was your point of differentiation, Steve? What makes you different than your competitors? AJ.
My 39 years of experience.
Great. 39 years of experience. So Meredith, does that answer your question? All right. John.
2017, I made the decision to advance my career in real estate. I decided to take the time to learn and find a sense of real estate industry. I've allowed my current position in the medical industry from standing in my way. By the grace of God, the patience of my wife, these have been the same. I have reached some success. I have begun marketing to the people I work with and had 3 co-workers approach me about buying and selling their homes. I hope to improve my skills to help my wife to increase her business as we work on the next from the medical field. That being the greatest thing.
What's your point of differentiation?
I guess I kind of stopped allowing my current position to control everything I do.
And that's about you. I think Meredith's question is, why are you different than other agents in your market?
What I'm wondering is when you sit down with a listing appointment and they say, what makes you better than the next guy?
Yeah, I really can't answer that because I really haven't done that on my own.
Okay.
And you might say, my wife is what makes me better.
Actually, one of the things I think we use to market ourselves is because basically what I'm doing is I'm supporting her. Is when we talk to a client or a potential client or something, one of the things we mentioned is that you're going to get 2 of us.
2 for the price of 1. That's your point of differentiation. 2 for the price of 1. Tanya. This is brand new to everybody.